realizing that everything is related to everything else. Today, we're going to talk about everything. If you buy and sell vehicles for a profit or you want to, you're in the right place. This is the Flipping Genius podcast. Our number one goal is to help our listeners make more money. Every episode, we share information, ideas, and experiences of real-life car flippers. I'm Randy Lee. I'm the host of Flipping Genius. I've flipped cars most of my life. For over a dozen years now, I've been a licensed dealer. I am working to build the best podcast about successfully flipping cars for a consistent profit. Let's get to it, flippers. Let's give credit to where credit is due. I want to start off by thanking our buddy Chaz Dugas, who is, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he's a member of the car flipping forum in, let's see, Mount Vernon, Washington, I believe. Chaz works with a company called a Better Choice Auto Care. I believe he is an auto mechanic and probably knows a lot more than I do, maybe more than you do too. Anyway, Chaz posted a question that I thought was interesting and got me thinking about the situation with Carvana and probably some other companies like that have got themselves in a situation where they've overpaid for cars, and now with the possibility of the market softening on used cars and the prices going down, they're also in debt. And it was a pretty in-depth article that you can find on our car flipping forum, and read more about it and share your input if you will. But it brought to the attention of what is coming up and how it affects all of us. And Chaz asked us, what do you think about this? And I took a couple minutes to answer that question. Love to hear your answers too, or what you're seeing out there as far as car prices, used car prices, new car prices, the new car availability. All these things have been affecting us. And it was funny because this morning I was boring my wife to tears by talking to her about this, as I do that and football and all the other things that I talk about all the time, the election. And as I talked, because mostly it's just me talking, a lot like this, I realized that everything is related to everything else. Well, maybe not football, but I find a way to relate that to everything too. And it's interesting what we're seeing coming down the pike. And my point to Terry this morning was, you got to keep your head on a swivel. You got to look all the time to see what is affecting other things. Like if used car prices are going down, how does that affect us? Well, naturally, if we're holding on to inventory that's going down in value, that's bad. If we're holding on to inventory that's going down in value and we've used somebody else's money to finance it and we're having to pay them interest on that, that's even worse. But if somebody else is doing that, like Carvana or one of these companies, and they're a big player, if they go to dump their inventory into the marketplace because they've got to get cash out to pay the lenders who loaned them the money to stay afloat, that influx into the market is going to lower the prices, supply and demand, simple stuff. But it's not that simple, is it? I mean, it's pretty exciting. The opportunity could be there for all of us, especially those of us who recognize we make our money when we spend it. It's all about what you pay for things, not what you sell them for. I mean, you got to sell them for more. You buy low, you sell high, simple as that. But it's not that simple because some of these big guys apparently don't know it. And could be very beneficial to those of us who are cautious and patient and wait until we get things at the price that makes sense to us. And I don't know that I have a lot more to say on that, except for it's a brilliant time possibly to be where we're at right now if if you don't overextend yourself. This is a question that we keep seeing on the car flipping forum. If you're not a member of the Flipping Genius used car flipping forum on Facebook, just type in Flipping Genius under groups, and you'll find the forum. It's free to join. Just answer a couple questions so I know who you are, and once you get in, be like Chaz and share your ideas, share your questions, share your answers, share your input, share your challenges. I'm really interested in seeing some of the things that people are buying. We're seeing some folks are buying things at too high a price. They're overestimating what they think they can sell for. Most of you are not, though. Most of you are smart. I'm not saying that you're not smart when you're doing that. I'm just saying you're still learning. And if you're not learning, you're not working, because this thing constantly is a changing canvas, and you've got to be ready to adapt to your environment. Part of that environment is what we're seeing. Today is November 10th, so we've just passed the midterm elections for the United States, and they still haven't told us really what that means, because some states can't tabulate their votes fast enough to actually tell us what happened on election day. It's a little scary to me. We'll find out what that means. Who controls Congress? That's gonna change things a little bit. But I think what I'm saying to myself, to anybody who's listening, is we've got to stay attention. Don't separate yourself from the world, even if you're frustrated. You've got to stay attention to what is happening in front of you, in locally, nationally, internationally, because everything affects everything else. Even if you're just flipping $5,000 cars, $3,000 cars, $1,000 cars, or if you're a big boy and you're doing some of those expensive ones, but like the stuff behind me. But you guys know the truth about that. Anyway, it's exciting stuff, and Chaz, I appreciate you bringing that to the table, and all the other good stuff that you share with the group. I appreciate all of you guys who contribute to the group, and I also really appreciate all of you who contribute to the Flipping Genius financially. Anything you do to help us is greatly appreciated, whether you are a subscriber and are or a flipping team member, or flipping partner, or even a flipping champion. You can find out about all of these things if you go to flippinggenius.com, FLIPPINGENIUS.com. You can find out how to become any of those things, and everything else that we share on there, and everything that you do to help us financially helps us keep driving this train. If you're not a subscriber to our YouTube channel yet, by the way, please subscribe to that, because as we grow that, it eventually will help us too. We're not anywhere near yet where we need to be there, but every little bit helps, and I appreciate you listening and watching. And once you become a team member, once you become a partner, once you become a champion, we will get more involved with you, depending on what you want us to do, and help you grow your business. Because if another set of eyes, another set of ears, and some input can be pretty beneficial, we're pretty sure that whatever we bring to the table is going to be worth much more than what we ask you to contribute to drive this train. I'm going to take a little break. When I come back, we're going to talk more about what to keep your eyes open for. Hey, one of the other things that I've noticed people talking about on the car flipping forum are licenses. Getting a dealer's license, maybe a wholesaler license. The one thing that I know is that I don't know all the answers. Well, period, but especially about licensing. And I don't know if anybody does, including some friends that I have that are pretty knowledgeable of this, because it's different from state to state, as so many things are here in the United States. And then I know some of you guys are listening outside of the United States, so I don't mean to ignore you. I really don't know anything about other countries as far as licensing and laws. But here in the U.S., as I've mentioned before, I recommend that you reach out to your Independent Auto Dealers Association, and they will usually help you learn what you need to obtain your license. You know, as far as if there's education, if there's insurance, bonding. Usually, that's really what it is a matter of how much does it cost. As far as qualifications, you know, what do you have to do? Also, in some states, what is required as far as your physical location, what you're providing, you know, to your potential customers. And some states allow you to do a wholesale license. Some say that you have to, like Alabama now, you have to have a license, one license basically for everything, and that continues to change and continues. You have to continue to adapt to that environment. Speaking of adapting to that environment, something I feel like I can't mention this enough, because I want to make sure everybody is aware of it. There are some significant changes coming down the pike. I've talked about them repeatedly for licensed used car dealers like myself and many of you. You've got to make sure that you are legal. And there's some, the FTC has recently come up with some rules. I think I'm quoting the right group, and the rules that are pertaining to how you secure your prospective buyers and your actual buyers' personal information, especially those of you who are doing any kind of lending whatsoever. You got to follow certain procedures, and you've got to have an appointment of designated folks to handle this. I'm not going to go into those details. I believe December 9th is your drop dead last date. We've been talking about this for well over a year now, especially the last couple of months. I've been trying to harp on it a little bit, and even calling other dealers around the area on behalf of the Alabama Independent Auto Dealers Association, making sure that everybody knows about it. Here in Alabama, Randy Jones, our CFO of the association, has just bent over backwards trying to make sure that all of our licensed dealers here have access to training. And I'm sure that probably the same thing's going on in your area. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, investigate it yourself. Just go and investigate it. If you don't want to investigate yourself, if you want to reach out to me, feel free to send me a question at flippingquestions@gmail.com. I'll be happy to send you links to what I'm talking about. This is not a money-making thing on my part. I'm trying to help you guys stay in business, make sure that you are legal. And if you are not a licensed dealer yet, but this is something that you're thinking about doing, I'm benefiting you there too, because this is an ongoing thing. We're going to have to be cognizant of these rules into the future, and there's a chance that you're going to need to take action on these things in your state just to get your license. So be aware. I mean, I talk to dealers all the time, and I visit dealerships when I'm out doing the kind of things I've talked about doing, where I'm looking for vehicles, and I see that they're not following rules. There's certain things that are not being done. Usually it's not a problem, but the fact is that a lot of these associations, a lot of these states now, I mean, the governing bodies are actually hiring third-party individuals to come around and inspect, and they actually have some enforcement abilities and fining abilities, and they're basically working on commission. That's a little scary, but I think we're going to see more and more of that type of thing in the future, because everything affects everything else, folks. And that's what I'm hearing with my 2 ears. Like my one of my favorite television shows, Kim's Convenience, Mr. Kim on there. Mr. Kim uh, says, "You have 2 ears and one mouth. You listen double," or something like that. And you have to listen to what they're telling us. And what I hear, even when I'm watching football games and I'm hearing advertisements in between, I hear that there could be more governmental interference in what all of us do, and that means make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Don't leave anything open for trouble, because trouble could come. Make sure it's not you who's getting the trouble. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't want you to hide your head and not be aware of this. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing down there. I want to get back to the good stuff, some great stuff that I'm noticing as I'm talking. I'm looking at the car flipping forum, which has grown. We're getting close to 1,000 members. I want to give a few shout outs. Diego Castro, I just noticed that you've got a deal you posted on here of a nice looking Ford F-150 Heritage Edition. I'm not sure what year it is, but I think I've got one like it in my driveway. Yours is a little fancier, a little better looking. Good story there, and I like the interaction about that one. I don't know how you pronounce your name. Yamwal Sally. He asked us. He's out of Ridge, New York, and he asked us if you like getting lied to when you go check a car out. I sent him a link to the episode where I talk about that specific thing, and I know I think for me personally, I've just gotten used to it. I don't know if you ever really get used to it. Just sent a note to Asher Crosby. Asher's out of well, I'm not even going to say where he's out of, because just in case, because I don't know the whole details, but Asher says he's flipped 148 cars in the last 2 years, and it has not gone to an auction. Really like to hear more. I sent Asher this question. I'd like to hear more from you. Either reach back out to me on email, flippingquestions@gmail.com, or directly on the car flipping forum. Or just post it on there. We'd like to hear more about that. That's the kind of stuff I'd love to hear more about. The success that we're having. Matt Jones said you were flipping your personal vehicle. Good looking Audi. How'd you do on that? Let us know. Let us know how you're doing on your flips. Tell us what's happening. Tell us what's working, what's not working. What about when you're buying? What's your experience there? Let's share our information with each other. A lot of you guys do it. Sean Scroggins. I mean, there's another. He's always got a good share on there. Of course, you always see a lot of goofy stuff from me on there too. But love hearing some information about what you actually have going on. David Jacobson has asked some good questions and gave me a chance to share Serena Martin's information, who's my title professional, and she can help you with your title stuff too. Serena works all across the country, so if you got an issue and she can help you with it, if she can, she will. Helps me every week, every month, not every day because I'm too lazy, but but definitely some good stuff. Kevin Scott always posting some information, interesting information. Hey, all of you guys, I really appreciate you sharing and exchanging ideas. David Moore, all the folks that are active on the car flipping forum, and like I said, the group continues to grow and is becoming more vibrant. And it is very beneficial. I think that the more information we have to share with each other. Mark J.C. Holton has asked a question on here. Hey, go on there, guys, and help each other, because that's really what this is all about. I want us to help each other make more money, and I think we're getting a lot closer to that. It's an exciting time coming up, I believe, because of the changes we see. So I want to reach out to you right now and say, tell me what you're seeing around the country, price-wise. Tell me what you're seeing around the country, selling-wise. I know I share a lot with you what I see here, and of course, what I see here is very targeted. I just bought a 2001 I'll go ahead and tell you my story. I bought a 2001 Ford Escape four-wheel drive. Just had 154,000 miles on it. Good looking vehicle. I bought it from the auction, dealer auction, uh, and body's in good shape. Interior's a little dirty, but good shape. No real tears or anything. Uh, yeah, basic vehicle. It's got everything works on it. Power, everything worked on it. Uh, Had to jump it to get it started, and since it's four-wheel drive, I figured I'd just jump in it and drive it over to the mechanic. Mechanic said he'd give me a drive back to pick up my car, and so I was excited about that. Picked it up for, I'm almost scared to tell you what I paid for it. 350 bucks. 350 bucks for a running car, cold air conditioning, all four windows working, decent tires. Pretty excited by that. Buyer's fees are driving me nuts. Almost doubled my price with the buyer's fees, but I figure still, that thing's probably worth $2,500. You know, once I know it's solid. Uh, I couldn't identify anything wrong with it other than the battery probably. Found out that I was wrong about that. Looks like maybe the alternator was bad because it made it about halfway back and wound up trapped alongside the road, alongside what I thought was a country road, and all of a sudden, country road became a busy thoroughfare, and I thought I was going to get knocked off the road because I could not get the thing into neutral to push it into the ditch area there on this country road. Fortunately, Gary and the guys at Monrovia Wrecker, who always help me too here, and Gary over at Dennis Johnson told me how to access a little push button above the steering column there, so I could bypass the lock on the transmission and slide her off the road. But that was after one fellow stopped and tried to, Paul, I can't remember the name, Paul's company's name, but he stopped and tried to help me jump the car, which couldn't even get it jumped with his big Dodge truck. Really appreciate. I think Paul's listening to the podcast now, which that's exciting. Picked up a new podcast listener, and then I can't remember the gentleman's name who gave me a ride back to the auction, but I know his dog's name was Bullet, and I don't know if Bullet's listening right now, but if he is, hey Bullet. So we had to get Monrovia to tow that one over, and I'm still waiting to hear what exactly the verdict's going to be. But I believe it's a good solid one. I mean, I got about 600 bucks into it so far, maybe about 680 with the tow, and I'm guessing I'll have less than $1,000 into it total. Should be able to move it pretty quick once it's repaired for about $2,200 to $2,500. So we're looking at least $1,000 on that. And that's the kind of thing I'm looking for all the time. That's it's right in my zone. And I just missed one from the same auction. I got a feeling I'm going to pick it up next week because a lot of times if they don't accept my bid, a lot of times I come right back with the same bid and they wind up taking it. So I'm hoping that'll happen this week. The exciting thing is I'm seeing that stuff free up, because for a while there it wasn't. I was going to have to bump up my payment by $400 or $500 to buy that same vehicle, and $400 or $500 comes right off my bottom line. That means I'm only making $400 or $500 on the car, and that's just no good. I'd rather just go play golf. So I'm in this to make money, not in this to make friends. I love friends, but the fact is that I flip cars to make money, and that's what I'm trying to do. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing possibly the prices, even in my bottom feeder area, starting to go down a little bit. But the fact is that it's going to affect everything. If my prices go down, your prices go down. If all of our prices are going down, it doesn't mean we can just automatically make more money on vehicles. It also means that our competitors are going to be charging less on their vehicles to get them off of the lot. And it all goes back to what Chaz was talking about way back here at the beginning of my commentary about the big boys up there at Carvana with their fancy vending machines. So all that stuff's going to trickle down. We've got to be aware of it. You've got to be aware of your surroundings. Keep your eyes open to see what other people are charging for the same type of vehicles. Do not overpay I still use Kelly Blue Book. I'll continue to use them, but you've got to use your head too, because just because Kelly Blue Book says something's worth $2,800 or $28,000 doesn't necessarily mean it is. I had somebody call me yesterday about a vehicle, a 2018, not in my bailiwick. It's not something I deal with, but I was trying to help, just looking at what the prices were, and I think those vehicles are still priced above what Kelly Blue Book would say private party's going to sell for, because of some scarcity there. This was a pickup truck too, so it sounded like she had a decent deal, even though it was above what I'd want to pay. But I'm not even going to mess with that. Like I told her, I don't even know what a 2018 looks like. Just don't. I'm not even kidding. Unless I rented one, I really don't know what they look like. But just be aware of your surroundings and recognize that, like I said, everything affects everything else. That's really what I wanted to share with you today. I hope it makes some sense to you. If it doesn't, you think I'm just crazy, write me an email and tell me I'm crazy. I always love reading stuff like that. Leave me a comment at the bottom on YouTube. If you think it's good, though, I love reading good comments too. If I've helped you at all, let me know that. If there's something I can help you with, let me know that. flippingquestions@gmail.com, or just go to the Flipping Genius YouTube channel. It's Flipping Genius, pretty easy to find. And we've got well over 100 videos on there now, and you can watch most of the episodes, the Flipping Genius podcast episodes on video. You can, if you're watching on video and you just want to carry us around with us and listen to us, like Chaz DeGaw does up in Washington. I appreciate you listening to me while you're working on cars. I hope I don't annoy you too much, and I hope every now and then I say something funny. I'm usually amusing myself, at least. You can listen to us, is what I was getting to. You don't have to watch me, as pleasurable as that might be, because I'm a handsome devil. You can just listen to the podcast wherever podcasts are heard, including our host at Anchor. Which, if you're thinking about doing a podcast, as you've heard me say many times on the show, Anchor is a good place to launch your podcast. It's free. They do a nice job for us. And you also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and any place else that you listen to podcasts, pretty much. Please go to our website, flippinggenius.com, and take a look at all the things that we offer there, including our resources page. We'll link to some pretty good deals. And every now and then, when you buy something on the resources page, we get a little kickback, and any kickback we can get is greatly appreciated. Consider becoming a Flipping Team member, a Flipping Team partner, or or just subscribe to the podcast. There's a few extra bonuses and benefits you get as a subscriber. Some bigger benefits if you become a team member or a partner or a champion. Please share us with your friends. Come back often. Make sure you save us as a favorite so you don't miss anything that we post. Try to do it once a week, usually on Wednesdays. I'm a couple minutes late this week, and I apologize for that. But just getting back in the saddle after having some time off, having fun with my beautiful bride. And so forgive me for that. And at the same time, trying to make a couple bucks on some old beat up cars like usual. Hey, I hope things are going well for me, man. Let's work together. Let's all make some money. Let's all become flipping geniuses.